So I wanted to recommend another book to you, give you a brief book review. Again, this is a middle grade novel. It is When You Trap a Tiger. And just for your information, this book was just named the Newbery Award winning book for this year. So the Newbery is the best book for that middle grade group. It's a novel. The Caldecott, if you've heard of that one, is the annual award for picture books and illustrations, but the Newbery is for the novel story. This book, When You Trap a Tiger by Keller, um, at first I wasn't sure if I could get into it, but by the end, it was a multi tissue, ugly cry kind of book. So if you are a fan of that, I suggest you read this. You should just read it because it's the Newbery winner, and you should just read every Newbery winner just to stay, informed about what great literature is for children. So in this story, you have Lily. Lily lives with her mom and her older sister Sam. So Lily is fifth grade, going into sixth grade after the summer, and they are in California. Their father died when Lily was a baby. He died in a car accident, and so it's just the three of them, and they are moving up north. Out of California to live with Lily's grandmother because Lily's grandmother is older. She's been ill, and so they're going to spend time with her. And one of the things you discover is that Lily's grandmother, who she calls Halmoni, I think that's right, she's Korean. And so as the girls have been growing up, they have been told stories about tigers walking on Earth and the stars having stories. And so there is this element of Korean folktale interwoven with the story of Lily and her family. Now, one of the things that is constant in life and constant in Lily's life is change. And if you have ever gone through a situation where you've watched your parents or your grandparents become elderly, forget things, start to change, you notice things they're not exactly the same grandmother or parent that you grew up with, and that's a huge theme of change throughout the story because you're seeing Lily change, right? So they're moving to another community. She's now having to make friends. You're seeing her kind of come into her own and become more of the person that she was always intended to be. She'd been real quiet and shy, but you start to see her grow as she's also watching her grandmother change, the relationship between her mom and her sister, and her mom and her, and her mom and the grandmother change. So that really the only constant in this story is change. I applaud the fact that we are starting to see more diversity in the Newbery winners. So this one, which includes a lot of Korean culture in it. Last year's winner, New Kid by Jerry Craft, which was about a Black student and his experience in a new school. That was also a graphic novel, the first time we've ever seen a graphic novel win the Newbery. So that was amazing. And then the year before that, Mercy Suarez Changes Gears by Meg Medina told a multi generational story about a Latinx family in Florida. And there are a lot of similarities, in my opinion, from Mercy Suarez Changes Gears to this story because you're seeing that multi generation. You're seeing a lot of cultural references. You're seeing a grandparent who has become ill and the granddaughter trying to cope with that and figure out what's going on. I saw a lot of the same themes in that story. I would highly recommend this book to anybody who loves the idea of embracing like that fantasy with a realistic fiction kind of story. They're interwoven very well. If you like sad books, this is turns out a little sad in the end. But I'd read it also because it's the Newbery winner, which means it is the best book written in a year for children that are third to sixth, seventh grade. So happy reading. Enjoy your next book.